Biz Show continues. As always, we appreciate you being along with the gang here inside the Loft 100 studios as we roll on. Day Trader Trio right there. Just as good as ever, just as awesome as ever in 2026 as they were in 2025. Back here at the bar, it is Costa, it is Marybert Godwin, and it is Sully.
Great to have you along today. 85 million TV homes strong, not forget our American Forces radio and television services in 175 countries and all the ships at sea. I'm happy our next guest is on the air with us because it is that time of year again where we have to start touching on a little bit of biotech. And of course, the JP Morgan conference is starting here in Southern California. Who do we have coming up?
Waqaas Al-Siddiq is the CEO, officer, and founder of TriCity Incorporated. Their ticker symbol, BTCY, and we welcome him back to the Big Biz Show.
What's up, Dr. Al-Siddiq? Good to see you, man.
Nice to see you too. How are you doing?
Good, man. Waqaas is one of my favorite people because he's the same personality as I am. Hey, Waqaas, does this dress make me look fat? No, Sully, your face does. He's one of the most straightforward guys I've ever met in my life. No, honestly, we both have the same personality. And when we're talking to each other, you can't tell. I think I like this guy. I think he's good. Hey, talk about cardiovascular disease because, as usual, it's the leading cause of death in the U.S. You guys at TriCity have a really interesting model in terms of attacking not only cardiovascular care, but you also took a look at this thing in terms of annual healthcare costs, which I thought was really interesting. I've never seen a biotech person actually talk about the business model involved as well as the therapy. Talk about what you guys are up to.
No, absolutely. I mean, as you said, it's the number one killer, and I think that people, one aspect of an issue being a number one killer is really understanding how technology is utilized or not utilized, right? And so we looked at the business model because we understood that adoption and whether or not you can deliver care to these patients is going to be directly related to whether or not the hospital can afford or the clinic can afford these technologies, and then if they can service it. So we built our cardiac platform to not only get results and insights to the physician faster so that they can deal with those patients quicker and the wait times are shorter, but doing it in a way that is reimbursable, that is revenue generating, that is profitable. And so we help them open up billing codes that were otherwise lost to them because they were service providers doing this. So bringing that revenue back into the clinic allows them to hire more people, service more patients, and ultimately target the number one killer.
Doctor, how many people out there think, I'll drink some beet juice, I'll eat some kale, and that's how I will, ward off cardiovascular disease, and then don't do anything about it or don't find out about it until they're in the doctor's office and it's at a serious stage?
Oop. Yeah, I mean, one of the problems is that cardiac issues are so intermittent. And that's the big problem. And so, you have this huge rage going around about GLP-1s. Well, if you were overweight for a long period of time, you were obese, your arteries are clogged. Yeah. And so using a GLP-1 and losing 100 pounds is fantastic, but your arteries are still clogged. And that's the big problem.
What's interesting is if I have this correctly, and I've interviewed you a number of times, your long-term vision is to sort of have a seamless connection between clinical care with daily life and so on and so forth. And I think that patient experience can be described as impactful. I think the word impact probably applies to you guys better than anything. Talk about that, because one of the things you and I have talked about a number of times is that you got, I don't know how many millions of adults that don't have access to healthcare, or trying to dig their way through. I think access to quality care is a barrier to entry. And you have a barrier to entry in businesses, but barrier to entry to getting healthy is a rough one, is it not?
No, 100%. And we've really tried to kind of impact that. I'll give you a couple examples. I mean, we had the technology, we make it available to the cardiologists, and then we started getting these calls, and people are like, well, which doctor nearby that has access to your technology? Like patients calling in. And we said, well, we can't actually service you because we don't have a doctor that utilizes our technology in your area. And so what we did was we made a consumer version of our product, and that's available on Amazon and our website. And people are actually buying this every single day. And what we're finding is that they're waiting 90 days to see a cardiologist, or they can go on Amazon and they can buy our product and they get some insight. So by the time they go to the cardiologist, they've got all of this data. And so we've been trying to address it to exactly your problem. You have a barrier to business, barrier to access to physicians. And so if we can help by making it more accessible, so making the technology available to the consumer side and making it available to the doctor side, we're trying to bridge that gap.
Is the technology you're talking about available on Amazon, is that the BioHeart?
That is the BioHeart, correct.
So that is something, it's like, it's not, Mike was talking about food and intake and changing what you eat, but it's also sleep, what you drink, your stressors, it's all the things. So BioHeart is something that people wear and it monitors all of these things and helps people get an overview of all of the factors that are affecting them.
Exactly right. And you can wear it while you're sleeping. And the good thing about that product is that the data that we're collecting is clinically relevant. So if you ever took it to your physician, they can actually interpret it and they can leverage it versus, something your Apple Watch says or your other smartwatch says. That's not clear. That's not clinically relevant. So you don't know whether or not that data can be counted on. And there's also this scare factor. I mean, we just had a recent inquiry. I just happened to know this from last week, where a patient went down a cardiac monitor for 24 hours and was freaking out and got a referral to a cardiologist. Wait time is 60 days or 63 days.
I mean,
they got the BioHeart and they collected all this data and they realized that it's not that scary because the event happens once in a while. Mm-hmm. But on a 24-hour monitor, it was happening, the percentage was higher, right? If you take the same data over 7 days versus 30 days, the prevalence rate can be lower or higher depending on how often that is occurring. So they're like, I've got peace of mind now. I'm less stressed out because I realize it's happening very rarely because I've got full access to my data.
Mm.
Dr. Waqaas Al-Siddiq, the CEO, founder of TriCity Incorporated. Their ticker symbol is BTCY. Doc, how hard is it or how easy it has been to get the word out about what you're doing?
Healthcare is very slow. There is this unsureness from physicians on adopting new technology. I always say when you graduate from medical school, they're experts in, medical literature that was published maybe 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, God.
So it's been a challenge. But, we're in 35 states. We're growing every quarter. We're, just on the edge of profitability. So, we're trying to reinvest those dollars. And, I always tell everybody, I'm interested in growing and making this available everywhere, not trying to, make the most profitable and high margin business. It's all about, driving and staying true to our mission and vision.
I think one of the things too is that, innovation, as you have said on this program, thrives on speed. That's a frustrating thing in your business when the wheel moves so slowly, and you have to kind of feather that whole speed precision with as fast as it goes. Man, I hope you come back on us on a regular basis. I really appreciate you coming back with us, Waqaas. I mean, it's always a pleasure, and I actually feel better about Mike's AFib.
Dr. Waqaas Al-Siddiq, CEO, founder of TriCity Incorporated, ticker symbol BTCY. Okay, keep it right here. We've got much more coming your way as the Big Biz Show rolls on. Do not go anywhere.